I would be on for maybe 3 hours and I would be breaking over $2,000 per show,
Wow.
selling blind boxes and like clothes and things like that.
Welcome to Open Talk. My name is Lynn. Today I have Tiffany, or better known as Tiff Sells Lux. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's almost Christmas time. My goodness.
Only a couple days away. Ooh, there goes the ring light.
So, for those that don't know who you are, you want to tell them a little bit about who you are, what Tiff Sells Lux
Yeah.
is? Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, if you are new to me, I'm TiffSellsLux. A lot of you guys may know me as somebody that pops in and out of these raid trains and helps a few of you guys on your raid trains. But I actually do shows uh, besides the raid train. I usually go on, my ring light's acting up, guys. I apologize. I usually go on every Monday and Wednesday and I run blind boxes.
Mm.
So you guys may also know me as that chick that runs Labubus or knows all about Labubus. That's also me. I also do share shows every Friday. This ring light is just gonna, we're just gonna bleed like this, guys. The ring light's acting up. So I also do share shows every Friday. And yeah, let's see if I crank this up. There we go. There we
So
go.
yeah, so Tiff, like, let's go back. How did you get started in this? Like what's your story? Like
So
how, like where you from? You have that
yeah,
accent that I don't know. Yeah.
born and raised from Alabama. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Obviously, Bama's so hard, guys. Obviously, you could tell from my accent that I'm not from Alabama. I'm originally from Brooklyn. Spent most of my life in Brooklyn, and I did the typical New York Italian migration. I went from Brooklyn to Staten Island, and now here I am in Jersey.
Mm,
At the end of my life cycle, you guys, I will end my life most likely in Florida because that's where we all go when it's about time for us to kick the bucket. If guys, if you know, you know.
yes.
I also don't posh. A lot of you guys all do know that I'm also a teacher. I've been teaching now for 14 years. I'm actually a special education teacher. Been doing
14
this for
years.
yeah, a long time. I've taught K through 4, not fifth grade. I kind of tap out at fourth grade. Fifth grade math scares me. Um, but I've been poshing. I've been on Poshmark since I want to say 2015. And obviously back then it was like for selling clothes and things like that. It really wasn't. It wasn't what it's become today because now Posh is something that a lot of people use as their main source of income, where it's their business and they're able to support their families and things like that on it. Back in the day, it was just, oh, I love this sweater. I'm done with it. Let me sell it for a few dollars and see what and move it on to the next person. That's really how I started. I would sell like my old clothes. I collect Lennox ornaments. So if I had doubles, I sold them on there.
Hmm.
Gifts that people gave me that I didn't want, I also sold on Poshmark. Shh, don't tell anybody. I did that. And then I kind of fell off on Poshmark for a couple of years. And then actually last summer, like July of 2024, I kept getting these notifications for Posh shows on my phone. I was like, let me see what this is about. And I popped on, was watching a couple of shows, and I like told my husband, I was like, you know what? I feel like I could buy like a couple of bags, invest in them, and then flip them for more money because that's where I was going with it. He's like, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And, shout out to my husband. He really doesn't give me a hard time about a lot of the things that I throw his
I
way.
love it.
So I started doing that. And then I did that for about like a month. And then I was like, as most people who pop in and out of share shows, you kind of get frustrated with it because like you can end up sitting in a show for hours until like your 2 items run. And sometimes they sell, but a lot of times they don't sell. So I was like, you know what? I feel like I could do my own show. I feel like, I have no problem with talking to people. I do it all the time. What's the worst that's going to happen? I'll invest like $30 on a ring light. I have everything anyway. Let me try it. And I like ran it past my husband. And again, he was like, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. So I went on Canva. I made a flyer. A lot of the shows where I was going, I was like, hey, I'm getting ready to start shows in September. Can I run my flyer just to, before I start? And a lot of those people, they were a huge, huge help. They let me run my flyer. They would try to help me get some likes on my flyer. And then I started my share shows in September. I started with doing one show a week, then 2 shows. And then over the summer, I was doing like almost every day that I was on. And now that I'm back at work, unfortunately, I can't do that because I have to be a functioning human being,
Mm-mm.
in the morning. And that's really how it started, just
Do you remember your first show?
I do. My first show, there was maybe 15 people, if that. And I wasn't on long. I think I may have sold one thing. And I was like, because my expectations were really low. I didn't have a tag list back then. I literally just ran my flyer and I was like, well, who comes, comes. And back then, there also weren't giveaways. So I know a lot of times, like we use the giveaways to help drive in like traffic. Posh didn't have that. So you just had to have people like stumble upon your show, see you and be like, this chick's kind of cool. Maybe I'll say and like throw my items in her tray and see if she could sell them for me. Um, and I had maybe 15 people. I remember the next time I went on, I was so excited. And then I was like, guys, it's my second show. And like in the beginning, I used to count my shows. And then after like my 10th show, I was like, okay, that's kind of stupid. Like, how I'm going to be like, guys, it's my 53rd show. Let's go.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
so after like my 10th show, I was like, we're done counting, just welcome to my show, whatever. I remember in the beginning, and I tell this story all the time to new poshers, like new show hosts. There was one time had my phone going, I had my iPad, and I had my MacBook going. And I'm looking at the number and I see three people. I'm like, okay, that's really not a lot of people. I'm like, but you know what? There's three people here. We're going to show up, show out for them. And I'm showing them my bags and everything, running items. The chat's quiet. I'm like, okay, like I feel like I'm by myself, but whatever. And I'm going through all these things. And then I close off my laptop and my number goes from 3 to 2. And I was like, huh, that's an
Oh
odd
my
coincidence. And
gosh.
then I close off my iPad and it goes from 2 to 1. And then I open up my iPad again and it goes back to 2. Guys, I was so mad. I was so mad. I like just shut off the show. I didn't say goodbye to myself, you guys. I was showing myself, and my items to the camera like this and everything. I didn't even say goodbye to myself, you guys. I just shut everything off. I was like, we're done here. I
Were
just ended the
people
show.
were people buying from you outside
No,
of the show? Like, were you making
yes.
sales, or like how did that
So,
go?
well, in that one show, I mean, I didn't buy my own items. It was just me and my show, just on three different devices. But in the beginning, it was very, very quiet. I'll be honest with you. If I broke $100, I was like, wow, that was an amazing show. I would be on for like a few hours. And then as time went on, and I was always the same way I am, where I'd pop in and out of shows. I'd say hi. I would like interact with people in the show. Because really, guys, if you haven't figured it out yet, is 99% networking. You need to network. You need to find your tribe. Your vibe will bring your tribe. You need to find your people and you need to like support them. If they're doing a show, even if you're not buying from them, supporting them by being there, talking in the chat, things like that. But that's like really what you need to do. Um, but like I was still popping in and out of shows, and eventually my numbers started growing and they started getting bigger. And also a big part of it is when I was the beginning of like my Posh show journey. um when Kobe used to go on, if she ever needed a break to like go grab her daughter or to go do something, she'd be like, Tiff, are you around? I'd be like, yep. And I'd pop on and I would like run her tray for like an hour.
Mm,
So not only was I getting out there in front of my show, I was now putting myself out there in front of her show and her people. So it helped bring in numbers also. Again, guys, 99% networking. And if you ever get the opportunity to co host with somebody, and especially in the beginning of your post show journey, do it. A co host with somebody, because just like what we always used to say, like back in the day, that like when you share, my followers are your followers. So maybe if you're sharing out my items, maybe there's somebody that follows you that's like, oh my goodness, that's so cute. And then it ends up helping get me sales, or vice versa. It's the same way. If you're co-hosting with somebody that, whether they're a big show host or not, if they're even a
yeah,
small show, you're now getting exposure to people that you may never have had the chance to get exposure with. They may have never seen your face or anything. And then if they like your vibe, they're like, you know what? When do you go on? Because there's been a lot of times where I've co-hosted with somebody like, wait, who's this person? What's her name? And I'm like, oh, I'm TiffSellsLux. Here's my flyer. If you want to know when I go live, just like it. Fastest way to get notified when I go live is just by liking this flyer. That's it. So
yeah,
really, like I said, networking and just putting yourself out there. Because like I said, the worst thing that's going to happen is those people that you're in front of, they may not come to your show. And if
yeah,
they don't, that's okay. They're lost. And if anything, like the worst that's going to happen is you ask somebody to co-host and they're like, no, that's okay. It's not the end of the world, you
yeah.
know?
No, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Those days when you only sold like $100 worth. Oh, I
Hmm.
mean, maybe if you did sell $100, like what
Yeah.
got you through
Maybe.
those days? Like what made you say, oh, like this is me? Like because from most people's perspective, if they just go live for a couple hours and they make zero sales and they keep doing it
Yeah,
day after day after day, like, don't you
it's
think
rough.
it, like, what
It's
made you
rough.
just like mentally just say, okay, I can do
Um,
this?
I'm really stubborn, and I also try not to quit something. Like, I'm so stubborn to the fact that if I say that I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try my best to get it done. Uh, you know, a lot of you guys don't know. My dad is first generation in this country. My grandparents actually came over while they were pregnant with my dad. So my dad has that hustler mentality. And I definitely think I get that hustler mentality from him as well. So, like with this, to me, like it's a great hustle. Like, don't get me wrong, it is exhausting. Like, as you guys know, I teach, my kids are young, my husband works third shift, and then I do this at night some days. So, like, there are times where I don't get to bed until like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm up at like 6:30 in the morning ready to teach the very next day. So,
Mm,
like, there are some days where I'm like running on like minimal sleep, just practically an IV drip of coffee. um but
and
it's just in the beginning when it was slow, I just kept telling myself it's gonna get better. You're gonna do it. Like, and if you don't, you don't. And like, I always used to joke around with my husband because in the beginning I started off with bags. Like, I didn't get into the Pop Mart items until November, October, November. I believe I started selling Labubus on the platform. Um, and I remember, like, in the beginning, I was just like, just bags and bags. And I would have like Louis Vuitton or Gucci or Fendi and like all these high end brands. And I remember looking at my husband, I was like, well, if this doesn't work out, I mean, I just have a bunch of really nice bags for myself now that I
yeah.
got at a really great price. And then really what turned it around for me was when, honestly, when I did start selling Labubus, it was slow and steady. But in the beginning, nobody really sold them. Now there's a whole bunch of us that sell blind boxes on the
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I was not the first. I was one of the first. There was definitely other people before me that were selling them. I used to buy a case at a time. I would sell them one individually at my
When
set
was this?
price.
When was this? What month of year?
This was like November, I would say, like November-ish, end of
Of
October, beginning of
last
November
year?
of 2024. Yeah. I've been
That
selling.
early?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got in
I,
way early.
I was like the one of the first, like one of the like first people to do this. Yeah.
So
And I always say that, and I think if I'm not the first, I'm one of the first people to do an all only blind box show. Like,
I didn't see.
where,
I didn't know that. This is exciting. So
yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
you discovered Labubus. Is that some this from you researching or
Just
just
no,
people?
just being on
Someone was
Poshmark.
just
And I
some.
remember, yeah, and I remember somebody like was running them, and I was just like, what is that? Because don't get me wrong, you guys, I do love Labubus, but in the beginning, I was like, what, that is that a rat? What is that thing? And then, like, as time grew on and I saw them get like with clothes on, I was like, all right, they're cute. And then I remember talking to Kobe about it. I was like, I think I might get a case to sell it. She's like, you should. You absolutely should. And I was like, I was like, but I don't know.
Is this big in the energy back? No, this was
No, this was like macarons and Havasi. This was before Big Into Energy.
interesting.
Yeah. So this was like the OG Labubus. And I remember, like, I was like talking, I was like, I don't know, like, because they were really expensive to buy back then. I was like, I don't know, like, what if nobody buys them? Like, then I just burnt like myself out of all this money. She's like, do it. People are gonna buy it. Do it. And then, like, I bought a case. It took me a little while to sell the first case. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy another case. And I used to like alternate between macarons and Havasi's.
How
And
did
I
you
would like,
sell it? Like low start or did you?
no, no, back then, no. Are you kidding? You guys snatched my booty now. Back
Oh
then, I was
man,
like, no. And I remember, like, I used to sell my have a seats. For one have a seat, I used to start it at $65. And then my one macaron was like 75 or 80, something like that,
this was
$80.
November
24.
2024, and
And
people were
that
buying.
lasts, yeah, yeah. And then as things started picking up, then I started getting clothes for them. So then, like, people would come into my share show and they'd be like, can you show us clothes? And then it would take up so much. And like, this is, over months, whatever. So this is like around February, March now of 2025. And like, it was taking up so much time. And people were like starting to like get upset and like complain in the chat, like, can you run my items? Like, are we done like selling these Labubus? And then I like remember talking, and
Mm.
every time like I ever have an idea, like I always tell my husband, he's like, whatever you want to do. But like if I really want some like good advice, Kobe's like my best friend, especially like on here. Like, she gets this. Like, my husband, I tell him, he kind of like glazes over. He's just like, that sounds great. Like, he doesn't
Yeah, of
he's just like,
course.
that's your thing. He goes, I know it's like its own separate world, things like that. He's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. He's like, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. So I remember running it past Kobe. She goes, try it. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try one show where I just do clothes and everything. And then we'll see how it goes. Guys, that was back in March. I've always had a Labubu show every week where it's just a solo show where I'm running blind boxes or clothes and things like that every week since March. And it's now December. So it was
When you did
a big move.
when you did the clothing,
Yeah.
did it take a while, or people just start
Oh, no,
buying right
no,
away?
they were buying it right away.
Right away.
Right away. A lot of them, like I said, they're cute, the Labubus, but like they need clothes. Those Boo-Boos need some clothes to make them
Right.
cuter. And this is also before Posh cracked down on like the clothing. Because now you can't sell the clothing that I was selling because otherwise you'll end up in Posh jail, you know?
Mm, mm.
So I was like selling like little outfits, little shoes, little bags, little things like that. And I would run it at my price. I would show it and then I would run it. And then I started listing them because people would want to know what I had. And it would take so much time to like go through all these little clothing items to show them. So then I started listing them. And then while I was doing these Labubu shows, I was like, you know what? I need more inventory. So then I started buying multiple boxes. And then I forgot when the Big Into Energy came out. But that was like around the time where I was like, all right, I don't know if I'm going to do this anymore. You know what I mean? I feel like this Labubu trend may fall off soon. And then Big Into Energy came out, and I was like, well, that's not happening. And then like those were hot, 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 hot. And
How crazy to go?
you couldn't get them. Like you could not get them. Like I remember people were buying cases of Big Into Energy for like $500 a case, which
Wow.
is insane. I wasn't spending that much money, but I definitely was spending a pretty penny. And I remember in the beginning, I used to sell my Big Into Energies for like 115 each, and they
On a
would sell
buy it now.
like as I would run it as an auction, and they were all confirmed. Now I don't do confirmed, but they were all confirmed. And I would like hold up like, all right, this one is luck. And I would run it. And sometimes people would buy and sometimes they wouldn't. But a lot of times people come be like, do you have a loyalty? I'm like, yep, right here. How much? This much, run it. And I'd run it and then it would sell. That was like in the beginning, because in the beginning of the Big Into Energy, they were so popular. They were so hard to get. That people they wanted it and they were willing to pay. And I remember like somebody be like, well, that's a lot of money. I go, not really. When you break it down, after Posh takes its fees, 115, that leaves you with like what, 80, $90. Well, no, like $90, like $90. But like after Posh takes its fees, then you have to take into account of how much I spent on the like per Labubu. I was
Yeah.
like, so honestly, I think I'm walking away with maybe like $20 like
Yeah.
per boo boo. I was like, so really, I'm not trying to rob you guys. Like they're just really hard to get. And because they're hard to get, they're super expensive. Like I remember when Popmart would do a drop, I would be on my phone or on my device waiting. And then as soon as it dropped, I would go within 10 seconds, sold out. And I'd be like, well, there goes that.
There goes
And then
that.
I'd have to buy a case from like another reseller or from another platform. I would end up spending on it. And I would spend it if it was reasonable. If it was reasonable. It's like that was also my thing. Like I would figure out how much was. I'm like, all right, let's just say it was 215. All right, there's 215 for this. There's six in a case that comes out to this much money. Or let's just say 240. 240, there's six in a case that comes out to hold on, what baby? Give me three. It would come out to like, oh, thank you. Go ahead, go back to bed. I was like, that comes out to what, like I can't even do the math right now, like 40, no, more than that. I have a math hard right now. My brain is, we're done here. But I'd be like, all right, it's going to be
Yeah.
this much. So I'd have to sell it for this much money. It was just a lot. So like, I remember like trying to like figure out all the math. I'm like, all right. Then as they started coming down, and then like as my show got popular, I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Let's do low starts. And then like that just like I started doing that over the summer.
Did
And
that
that
work?
just took off.
Like
Literally took off.
what was the highest you got on a low start?
I don't remember like the dollar amount like per boo boo, but I remember like I would only in like at my peak of doing it over the summer, and this was like when I was consistent doing multiple Labubu shows like almost every day. I would be on for maybe 3 hours, and I would be breaking over $2,000 per show
Wow.
selling blind boxes and like clothes and things like that. So it was great. It was honestly, it
How
was
much of
great.
those how much was your bids on the clothing? Like how much did those go for?
So I would sell them for 35 an outfit. And basically every outfit was like 35. If you got like a pair of shoes, or
This is
like a
great.
basic bag, it would be
This
like
is
$15. It would
fantastic.
be like $15 for
Yeah.
like those little shoes. If it was like a backpack for a designer brand that I'm not allowed to disclose, but if it was like for a higher end like designer like item where if I ended up paying more for it, then I would charge like a little, obviously a little bit more for it. People were buy them for 35 a piece.
So you want to run those auctions, just straight buy it now.
I no, I would run it as an auction, and there were times where I would run an item, and I'd be like, guys, I only have this one out, like this one, I only have one of it. And sometimes it would go into a bidding war, and sometimes
Oh
people
wow.
would spend like $50 on a Labubu outfit.
That's
I'm like, all right,
wild.
it's yours. You know what I mean? Like this is the starting price. If you want it, grab it. If not, I'll show you what else I have.
This is so exciting.
Yeah.
It's so exciting when you find something.
Yeah. And now I definitely want to, because like I know it's not going to last forever. And we've had that conversation before. So now my gears are already going to what's next. You know what I mean? Because like I
Yeah.
don't want to be known for like a one hit wonder. Like this to me, like I'm still teaching. This I basically use like over the summer. Because in case you guys didn't know, like teachers, we have summers off. We're unpaid. We are technically unemployed, but we can't, or at least in Jersey, I can't collect unemployment because I'm technically a 10-month employee. So it's like I almost like I know that for 2 months out of the year, I am unemployed. Like I
Do
could get a
they
job.
do they spread out your paychecks over the summer, or that you
So
just
it no, no.
no?
So my district doesn't. There are some districts that do. But the way that they do it, they like take your money and they put into like an like almost like a bank account,
Yeah.
and you don't have access to it until like the summer. And I'm like, I don't like that because like, what if I, God forbid, I need something,
Mm,
you know? So I never, my district doesn't opt it. My old district did, and I was like, what happens? Like, like if it's not enough, or something happens. Like I just didn't trust that. I was like, I'll just worry about the summer. It's fine.
yeah.
But before I had kids, I used to tutor. And when I sorry, when I tutored, I would charge $60 an hour. And over the summer, I would have like 15 to like 20 kids like a week that I would tutor. So like, and that was cash.
I
So just
see.
all under the
Tiff,
table. So like
I
that was my hustle.
man, Tiff always comes out with a hustle. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I want to talk to you about something. So
yeah.
I, live selling's great. You know, I'm a huge fan, but there's this underlying issue that I just feel like needs to be talked about more is as a reseller, you kind of take all the risk, right?
Yeah.
So you're going out there, whether it's Labubu's, buying
Yeah.
these expensive boxes. I have no idea
Yeah.
how much those go for, or you're buying bags, and then you're running it as an auction or buy it now and hoping people bid it to.
Where you need it to be.
Do you think that is a fundamental flaw that will ruin a lot of resellers?
Yes and no. So I think it's if you're buying things, this is always my advice because I've had people reach out to me on like on Instagram where they're like, I want to do a low start, but it needs to go for this much. And I'm like, I'll be honest with you, if you needed to go that high, I wouldn't low start it. Like I would set it for your price. It's a gamble. Basically, to me, when you're doing a low start, it's a gamble. So if you enjoy gambling, then you'll probably enjoy doing low starts because it's a
Yeah,
rush. Because
right.
like you'll low start and you're like, guys, come on, get this up, let's go. And you're praying to God that
It's
like these
crazy.
bids go where you need it to go. And of course, guys, don't get me wrong. There are times where it gets where I need to be. There are times where it surpasses where I need to be. And then there are times where you guys just snatch my booty. And I'm like, well, that hurt. Like
Yeah,
that wasn't fun. Um, but it's also there's a lot that goes into it. You know what I mean? Like you also have to almost like read the room. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I know during a rate train, it's very fast paced. So, and you have everything lined up. We have like 30 minutes to sell like our stuff. So like there are times where you're like, it's hard to pivot and like make those adjustments. But like if you're in obviously your own show and it's not a rate train show and you have all the time in the world and you're noticing you're doing low starts and they're not going where they need to go. Guys, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results.
yeah.
Guys, if it's not happening, it's not happening. Tonight's not the night, not safe for low starts. Run it at your price. And if that means that you're not going to make as much sales, the way that I see it, I would rather not make as much sales in a night than lose on almost every single sale that I made. Like I would rather hang on to my item for another show, try it again the next time and see where it takes me. And then there are times where it's my own fault. Maybe I overpaid for something on this. And you know what? Like we got to get rid of it. We got to recoup some of the capital that we put out on it and, live and learn.
Hmm.
Um, but it really depends on like your sourcing. I think, like I said, if you source high, like you're gonna have to sell it even higher because you have to take into the account of, let's say you bought a bag for $100. Okay, now you paid $100 for it. You got to pay tax on it, and then you got to pay shipping. So let's just say you're at 125. So that means that in order for you to break even for your 125, you're probably gonna have to sell that thing for over one. You're gonna have to sell for over 150 in order for you to break even. You know what I mean? So like as you're like bidding on things, like if you know you're gonna like resell it, you have to like figure that in like, okay, Posh is gonna take 20% off the top. Off the top. So like you have to like almost calculate that in. Like if I were to buy this at this price, do I think I could resell it for this much? You know what I mean? It's hard, but it is what it is. It comes with time.
I think it's very hard. I feel like we that's a topic we should keep talking about at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second thing is, I almost feel like live selling produces copycats. Like
Yes.
once someone sees something,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my gosh, a month later, now 20 people is doing the exact same thing, right? Did
Yeah.
you ever experience that doing like Labubus? Like once you started doing well, you start saying, oh my
Oh yeah.
gosh.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So like I said, I've been doing this now since March. Um, there's when I first started, even in the summer, there was hardly anybody doing Labubus. I think it was me and like one other person, maybe two people. Um, Now you could pop on whenever and there's probably three or four shows where they're doing labubus or baby threes or ripper ships and whatever it may be. Because I mean it's a business, and if they're popping into like, let's just say my show, and they're like, wow, look at Tiff, she's running $5 starts and everything's going for so well, she's making a killing, I could do this, I could definitely sell this stuff. And then they're going out and sourcing, and now they have a show, and then that person sees it, now they have a show. So
Hmm.
there's definitely way more people doing it now. Um, not as many people are as aggressive as I am with selling them, but like not as many people are like getting out the Italian chancla, the wooden spoon, and hitting the camera
Oh
like I
man.
do. But they're definitely doing it too. Hang on, you got to go back to bed, baby. You got to go back to bed. You can tell me so. I'll come in your room in a little bit. You got to go back to bed. I love you, my daughter.
No worries. No worries. Yeah, man, this copycats, I just feel like so when you start seeing that, did you go harder? Did you do more? Or you just like, okay, I'm just gonna,
No, I'm me. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I still have people that, consistently come to my show because they like me. They like my energy. They like the products I bring, whether it's the same products as somebody else has. If you have like a preferred show host, you're gonna go to their show regardless. You know what I mean? Just to go support because you genuinely enjoy being in their show. And I feel like that's what I have. Like I have a lot of people that genuinely enjoy being in my show. If you guys have ever been in my show, you'll see that like I crack a lot of jokes, but that's who I am as a person. And I try to make it fun. You know what I mean? Like, cause there's nothing more like, I mean, I've been in some shows with like, okay, guys, we're going to run the next item. Here it is.
oh my gosh.
These are some
Yeah.
dog, and there's like no music playing. And they're like, these are dog dominoes. We're going to start them. And meanwhile, like it's the complete opposite in my show. Like I'm a loud Brooklynite, like Italian from Brooklyn. Like you hear it in my accent. I got the music going. Thank God my kids could sleep through like anything. Cause like that music is bumping.
Yep.
And I'm like yelling, I'm smacking the camera. Like I'm trying to make it as like
You have
entertaining
to.
for you guys.
You
Yeah.
have to.
Because like you want people to say, and like I said, it's a business. And the chances are that if there's people in your show, if they're hanging out, they very well may hit that button and swipe right and like keep swiping until like, they win a bid or something. So you want your show to be like fun and entertaining.
Yeah. Do you stream inside your home? Like
Yeah,
obviously,
this is
yeah.
it. This is it, guys. This is my look, my kids squishmallows and everything. This
So
is actually a great way to stream from.
do you like taking this business and after doing it for quite a bit now,
Yeah.
would you ever want to like how do you see this business in terms of Is this something you want to do full time? Is
I
it
would
something
love to
that
do this full
part time?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would love to do this full time. The only thing that really holds me back from doing it full time are my benefits and my pension from my job. Because, guys, like I said, I'm a public school teacher, so my benefits are awesome. Of course, we can hop on to like my husband's benefits. They're not nearly as great as mine, but really, I love my teaching job. But I would also love to do this. I would love to be like my own boss and everything. But like that's really kind of like what is holding me back from taking that leap of faith, being like, all right, we're gonna go all in, be
I feel like that would
both
be a
feet
very
first, and just
scary decision,
yeah.
no? Yeah.
No, it would be. It would be. And I also would want to find like my next thing. Something that I don't think is because like Labubus and like all these plush pendants, they're a fad. Like, of course they're all gonna fade out and everything. Um, but I would want to find like my next thing that's sustainable. And I know there's a lot of people that sell bags. Bags kind of scare me. Like I know I started off with doing bags, but when you're buying bags, like there's not a lot of times where somebody's going to come in and they're going to want to spend a couple $100 like that consistently on bags. Like, of course, like where else can you get a beautiful vintage Gucci bag or Louis Vuitton bag for the price of a brand new Coach bag? Like, that's insane. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of times people are like, they can't justify spending that kind of money when they got a mortgage or rent to pay. They got to put food on the table. They got to keep the lights on. They got the water bill. They got kids, car payments, whatever it may be. So that to me, like, is always in the back of my mind. That's why I'm always like, what's next? Like, what could I do that would be next? That's something that I could keep doing and sustaining. Hang on. What's the matter, my love? Okay, go ahead. Go. You can bring a toy tomorrow, but you have to go to bed. You can't go out of bed anymore. Sure. My daughter's just telling me tomorrow's pajama day, and when she has pajama day, we got to bring a toy. I'm like, sounds great.
Yeah, no worries.
That sounds great. Go to bed. Love you,
No
kids.
worries. The good thing about this, we could edit, which is great.
Yes, yes. Get
um,
edit out all those distractions.
I man, bags is. I mean,
It's hard. Like
I've never ran bags before. I just feel like it's so tough. Like,
it's very hard, and like a lot of people, and like let's be real, a lot of bags have call outs. They have like a mark or something on it, and some people don't care. Some people don't want a bag that has like rubbing in the corner or whatever it may be, or some people don't want to use a bag that somebody else used, you know what I mean? So like it's hard, it's very very hard. Or some people want like this beautiful like perfect like Gucci bag, but they want it for $200. And it's like, well, this is like an $800 bet. Like this is a very expensive bet. Like I can't sell, like I can't even source it at that price, you know?
yeah.
So it's hard. And like I said, I started off with bags. Of course, I still do get bags, but I don't get bags to like as like my bread and butter. Like I'll have bags to like run every now and then. Mainly, I get bags to run during the Ray train
Yeah.
because I know that's what a lot of the people want. So I'll get
Yeah.
that. But that's not something that I could see myself doing long term. There are big people that
Yes.
do it, but
So let's say you take 10 bags that you bought, right?
yeah.
And you run them on a show. Like, how many do you think you actually end up being profitable on 10 bags on average?
Like on a Ray train or a regular show?
Uh, on a regular show.
On a regular show, I will never low start it. I would sell it at my price. But I would end up sitting on those bags for a long time. Like I would have them for a while. Like I may sell like a bag, maybe two a night, maybe two. And let's be real here. There are probably nights where I'm showing bags and not a single bag is sold. Like I'm sitting here holding a bag, like, look how clean this is, guys. There's no crawl outs. It's perfect. It's this, it's that. I'm gonna give
No
it to you a
comments.
steal.
No comments.
And people
Nothing.
are like, wow, and you'll see in the chat, like, guys, this is a steal. Somebody grab it. And I'm like, you can grab it. Like you can buy it.
Yeah.
Like it is a good steal. It's a good price. But like I said, it's just bags are hard, And there's very few people. I like bags. Like I have a bunch of bags in my closet, but there's a few people where they have multiple bags of like different designers, different styles, or whatever. Like there are probably people that probably have like two or three bags in their closet, and they're good with that. And there's also people that like I said before, can justify buying those bags. And then there's other people where if they have the money to spend for the bags, they're most likely not going to pop into my show. They're
Yeah.
going to pop into a show where it's a much larger show host where they know they're getting high end bags and they're running them for great prices. So bags are tough. Bags are
And
very
and
hard to sell.
and I also think like I mean, it must be expensive buying all this, just sitting around, just
Yeah. Like
yeah,
there's been times where I've spent like $400 or 300 something dollars on a bag and it's in excellent condition. And then I'm sitting on it for like a month or more. And I'm like, put out this money. And of
yeah,
course, like you said earlier, with live selling, we take all the risks. So we like put up our money to buy this item and hope that like you guys are gonna buy it.
yeah,
And if it doesn't sell, then you're like, okay, you lower it a little bit. Then you're like waiting, you're like, okay. And then you try lowering it. And then like the worst thing you want to do is lose money. And at some point you're like, I just want to break even at this point. Like
yeah,
I just want to get the money back that I got for this.
yeah,
And it's hard. It's
yeah.
very hard.
I think this is just my humble opinion. I just feel like a streamer going live and going through this journey is going to experience one of many
Yeah.
bottlenecks, right? One is
Yeah.
inventory, right?
Mhm.
Two is, they're not going to get the right like inventory to streaming. They're not going to get the
Yeah.
right people in their room. Three, capital. Like there's
Yeah.
just so many different pieces to this that I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people that will look at it and say, this I can't do this.
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
definitely hard. And then even so, like after a show, um, because there's other factors, because it's not even just like, let's say you have a great show and you make a killing, you sold all these items. Now you got to pack the order and you got to get it out fast because you don't want your ship time to go, to be
Yep.
too high because then that affects your rating. And then you want to get it out and, immediately because then people are going to be like, then you get this reputation of, oh, she sells items, they're amazing, but it takes her forever to ship them. And it takes forever,
Yep.
especially now with the ground shipping, forever to get my product. So now you're like, okay, I sold all these items. Now I got to pack like 20 something orders. And now you're like trying to rush and hustle to pack all these 20 orders. And then they
And
can't just be
teach.
packed and teach.
Yeah.
And you can't just pack them and like throw them in a box. You got to make them look cute. So then you're like trying to put stickers and you're trying to do all these things. And it's a lot. I will say that I have definitely with my packaging. I used to like in the beginning when I used to sell like my in the early days of Posh, I used to handwrite a note. Now I get like the printed thank yous. I throw it in the box. I throw everything in a poly mailer.
There we go.
I used to put like little thank you gifts. Guys, I don't even do that anymore. I don't even throw thank you gifts in my things anymore because then it was just becoming so much. Because then I would pack it like, oh, shoot, I forgot to give them their thank you pen. Then I'm opening up these packages to throw a pen in there that, let's be real here, you guys. You guys aren't using it. You're probably taking the thank you gifts and regifting it or doing whatever with it.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, it is sweet getting the thank you gifts, but like, I don't know, like I've been on other platforms. They don't even give you a thank you card. They just throw your stuff in the box and then just like, here you go.
Yeah. Well,
And
Poshes are different for sure.
it is,
Yeah.
it's very different. And because like I've been on those other platforms and I get packages from them, like, like, and it's
Yeah.
funny because like I'll get something that like I would have never packaged just like in a poly bag. I'm like, like it's crazy. Like I would never. Like it's so interesting.
I admire streamers that are consistent. Like
Yeah,
this, like day in or week in, week out. They're just
yeah,
super consistent with everything that they do.
yeah,
Because I just know how hard it is on the back.
yeah.
It's
And that's the
and then
key.
yeah, and the other thing that is I almost feel like that's not talked about too much is
Yeah.
burning out from this.
It's real. It's
You know?
definitely real. Because that's also like again, and I probably should have mentioned this. If you're going to start live selling, consistency. Don't just say like, I feel like going, I don't feel like going, I don't feel like going. You need to be consistent, especially in the beginning. Even so, like even not in the beginning, like you need to have like your schedule. Like if you say like you're going on every Friday, go on every Friday. You know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
obviously like you need to cancel a Friday, you cancel your Friday. Because life happens and like we all have our own personal things going on, but like you need to have a set schedule. And like if you can go on more than once a week, go on more than once a week. That's the best way for you to build your audience, find your tribe, and everything. Um, but there definitely is a burnout because I've said, there are times where I go to
Have
bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm up at 6:30 in the morning the next like a few hours later. Like I'm barely getting through a REM cycle.
yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Have you
Um,
ever gone through a week where you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Like this sucks.
There's definitely been times where like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on like during the summer, I'm gonna go on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then take the weekend off. And by Wednesday, I'm like, huh? Like I'm like dying. Because like my kids wake up at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I went to bed at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So again, I only got a few hours of sleep, and I'm like, you guys want pancakes? Like dying. Like,
I don't
you
know
know,
how you do it, honestly.
it's crazy. My I remember my dad always saying, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." Like, and that's been kind of the mentality. I'll sleep when I'm dead. There have been times where when I do crash, like, and I do sleep, I crash and I sleep. Um, so like case in point, I didn't go on this weekend at all because it's the holidays. My daughter brought home. I was getting my daughter's class party, which was today, ready all weekend long. She brought home her class pet, which is a stuffed animal. I was like, perfect. This is exactly what we needed this weekend, is to take pictures with the bear and
Mm.
document his journey. um Getting ready for like Christmas and everything. And I literally, Friday we went and saw Santa, we did Christmas lights, I came home and I passed out, literally passed out for hours. I had big plans to like wrap some gifts and like do this and that, and that didn't happen. Saturday
Done.
night, same thing, crashed, passed right out. And then last night, actually, I came home and like sat down, like I was watching TV in bed with my husband before he went to sleep because he, works nights or whatever. And I passed out and I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, still in my clothes from the day before. And I was like, "Oh." And I remembered I needed to write about my daughter's journal with the bear. So at 6 o'clock this morning, I'm over here writing about our adventures with Cupcake, gluing
Holy
in the pictures that we
smokes.
bought. And I was like, we went to the jewelry store with Cupcake. We went to the bakery and got dates for Christmas Eve. I then like got ready and went about my day. I'm well rested is basically what I'm telling you. Like I am now very well rested. But there are times where you need to take a break.
But
You do need to
when
burn
you
out.
grind so much, I think grinding, well, you running your own business, you have to grind, right?
You have to.
But I feel like there has to be a purpose to the grind.
Yeah.
What is it that you are seeking? Like what is it that you would like from the like end of all this hustle?
Yeah. I want to grow as a streamer. Like I want to grow. I don't want to be like the biggest seller, but like I would like to be like one of the big sellers like on the platform. Like that would be awesome. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to like pop on, have a nice following, a nice amount of people in the show, chat being, moving and flowing, people buying items, like that's what I want. Like, I'm greedy, guys. I want it all. I want everything. I want it all. But that's really what I want. And of course, like, don't get me wrong, like, I started off with doing this as something that's fun and everything, really kind of setting myself for like my summer hustle. Like this would be like my job, full-time job over the summer. Um, but guys, as much as we all want that financial freedom. And that's also like what I'm hustling for, is for that financial freedom to not, as most of us do, paycheck to paycheck, with where we get our paycheck and you're like, all right, I got this amount of dollars. Who am I going to pay with this paycheck? And then you pay your bills. And then the next paycheck comes. You're like, okay, who am I going to pay? And then you pay your bills. Like I said, guys, I'm a teacher. It's no secret. We don't make a lot of money. In Jersey, we make a decent amount, but cost of living is also very expensive in
Sky
Jersey.
high. Yeah.
Sky high in Jersey. Like I remember talking to somebody in Florida and they asked me like how much money I made. And I told them, he goes, wow, you make a lot. I was like, uh, not for Jersey. Like for a teacher, like in the South, like they make like their starting salary, I think is like 28,000 a year, or 30,000 a year. In Jersey, I think the starting salary now is like in the 60s, or like around there. So it's a huge difference, but it's very expensive to live here.
Yeah.
So, we're all just chasing financial freedom. Like I said, I want that financial freedom, and I just want to be, you know, I want to be a household name. Like I want to be a well-known streamer. Like I
I
want
love
people to
that.
be like, oh, it's Tiff, like she's on, and like pop in. But like I don't want people, like if I come into the show, like them, like, oh my God, it's Tiff. Like I don't want that. You know what I mean? Like I'm still, like I always say, like I'm just a girl from Jersey. Like I'm a girl that's from Brooklyn. I'm in Jersey now. Like there's nothing special about me. And I've always said this, guys, if I could do this, anybody could do this. Like if I'm able to figure it out, fit into like my crazy life and hectic schedule, you could definitely do it. It's possible.
A
If it's something you
couple
want, you got to do it.
a couple quick questions.
Yeah.
Do you get Do you get a rush out of streaming? Like a rush, like
Sure, I do.
addictive
I
rush?
do.
Yeah.
I do. I definitely get a rush, more so with the Ray trade shows. Uh, don't get me wrong. I definitely do freak out like a bit when I see like right before you, because a lot of times like I'm usually you guys read into me, and like I'll have my show on, and then like on my posh phone is where I stream from, and then we're actually on my real phone right now, but I'll have like my real phone down on like my counter, and like I'll have you guys on set, and I'm just watching, and I'm like, guys, we're up to 800, like, and I'm like slowly dying, but I try not to let it show. Like I try to just like, all right, let's do this, and just try to like not psych myself out. Be like, all right, we're gonna crush it. We're gonna do this. Like it's gonna be great, and just give myself like all like that positive affirmation, um, and then just do it. And I think it's such a rush because, especially in a rate train show, you're moving so fast, and it's also like a rush because like you sat there and you thought about this show. You're like, okay, I'm gonna run this item, then we're gonna go to this item, and you literally I plan it out per item. Like, okay, I'm going to run this, and then I'm going to run this, then I'm going to do this, then we're going to go back to this, and like, and I just run my show, and I literally lay everything out in front of me because I'm a one woman team. My kids are too little to help me. My husband's usually at work when I'm doing this, or he's still sleeping. So I'm like just running and hustling and trying to get this done. And then like once you guys like once the show's over and it's done, I'm like, "Ooh." Like you can almost feel like the adrenaline like coming down, and it's wild.
It's a
It
crazy
is wild.
rush. It's a
It's a
crazy rush.
crazy rush. It
Yes.
is. It's a crazy rush.
Yeah.
And even in like my shows, my live shows, where it's not so much the share show, where it's like my Labubu show, when I'm doing like constant low starts, it's a rush because you're like, come on, guys, go, 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 go. No, guys, no, not $10. Get it up, get it up. And you're just like talking and trying to get them to keep going. That's even a rush too, because you're like, please, so, like, because you don't know what the outcome's going to be. Because like when you start something at like $5, it very well can go for $5, you
Yeah.
know? So like it is, it's a rush. I do. I love it. Maybe
What's
I'm an adrenaline junkie.
what's the most you made in one night,
um,
if you don't mind?
I would say probably 2,800
Hmm.
in one night.
I like that.
I think I actually see. So I always, at the end of every show, whether it's a Ray Train show or my personal show, when like after, if you guys have never done a show before, as soon as we end our show, whether we end it or like send you guys somewhere, we get a black screen with like our stats on it. And it says like how long we're on, how many people came in and out of the show, your max number. And it tells you like the amount of items you sold and how much you've earned. I screenshot every single show because like I want to see like the progression of like how it's going. And it's funny because like there are times where like I've had like a share show and it was like really quiet. I wasn't on long. And then at the end of it, I would like look and it'd be like $50. And I would call Kobe like, girl, I could retire. Because like if it was like a slow show, she's like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, $50, girl. And then there were other times she's like, how'd it go? And I was like, it was all right. She was like, how'd you do? And then like I'll tell her. She's like, that's more than all right, girl.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? But I think it was like 2,800, I think. I could be wrong. It could be more, but I
That's
off
a
the top,
that's a good amount of
it's
change.
a good amount.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like there are times where I think the Black Friday show, because it was early in the day and my husband was sleeping, so he couldn't help me with the kids. It was obviously way too early for me to put my children to bed. So I like had my parents watch my kids while I was here, and then I was on. And then like the show ended, I just packed everything up and I went to my parents' house. And I don't remember how much I made, but my dad's like, how'd you do? And I told him, he goes, for how long? And I was like, I was on for a half hour or so. Like I sold myself a half hour. He goes, not bad.
Not bad.
He's
So
like, not bad.
we got about 2 minutes. Any one or two pieces of advice that you would have?
Don't give up. Honestly, don't give up, especially in the beginning. Be consistent. Uh, your vibe's gonna find your tribe. You really will. Like and network, pop in and out of shows, network. Don't just pop in and be like, hey, how's it going? And then like peace out of there. Like find a show that like where you like the host and you don't mind being in there, hang out, try to like talk to people, like be active in the chat, let people see your name and just be consistent. Um, and there's also one thing that I definitely do before every show. If you guys didn't know, I know I my mouth is kind of crazy some days, but I am a Christian. So actually, before I go on, I definitely do say a quick little prayer. Just let it be a good show.
I
Doesn't
like
have to be
that.
profitable, but let it be a good show. So before, literally before every single show that I go on, That's something that I just do really quickly. I know there are some show hosts that like will do a prayer at the beginning of their show with the people in their show. That's great. That's not my speed. For me, I rather that's like my time. So like I just say a quick little prayer. Just let it be good. It's okay if like it's not profitable, but just like don't let it be like a dumpster fire. Just let it be like a good show. Let people have fun. Let it be whatever it's going to be. And then I start my show. That's literally how I started. So if you are religious, try that. That might
Yeah.
even help. Like you might find that that also helps kind of like ground you. Because I remember in the beginning of like the Ray Train shows, that was something that I used to do. Just and it was also thrown in there to like not have me stumble upon my words and let my undiagnosed, unmedicated ADHD come out. But but it is what it is. And be yourself. Like there's so many people in the world, there's only one you. Be yourself. Like I said, your vibe's going to find your tribe. If people are willing to sit in my show and hear this for an hour or hours, they're going to come to your show. They're going to love you. They're going to come to your show. You'll find your people and just be consistent.
Thank you, Tiffany. We
Of
appreciate
course.
you coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful night, okay?
Thanks to you too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.